This is Andi Purewal for Boxing News. I'm joined by trainer Buddy McGirt here in London. Buddy, always a pleasure. How is the UK treating you at the minute?
It's great, man. It's always the UK is always good to me.
I'm glad to hear that. Obviously, we've had some good times here, and now you're here with Dillian Whyte. Your second fight together. Camp's been underway for a while now, so how's he looking?
Everything's good, man. You know, the train is running on schedule. We didn't know if this fight was going to take place or not, but we kept training. You know, we didn't overdo it, we didn't underdo it. We just kept it steady. And then now that we're here, now we got to do what we have to do now, step on the gas a little bit.
People will remember what this rivalry was like building up the first time, Buddy. I don't know if you paid much attention to it back then. So if you didn't, has Dillian mentioned anything to you personally since?
Nothing, not a thing.
So going into this one, obviously there were critics of his performance against Jermaine Franklin. How much more of an improved version do we see come August 12th?
Here's the thing. In the Jermaine Franklin fight, he went in with one arm. His left arm was totally messed, his elbow. I mean, he said, I'm not pulling out the fight. But, I can't say nothing before the fight. So, I'm like, listen, we got to do with what's going to get us by. We got to stick with what's working. And a lot of people are like, why'd you have him do this? Why'd you have him do that? After the fight, I'm like, he had one arm. What do you want me to do? He couldn't throw his left hook like he wanted. You know what I mean? So what do you want me to do? We got to make adjustments. And we made the adjustments. We got the win. Now we're on to the next.
It was two young, hungry, ambitious men when they first met, Buddy. At very different stages of their careers now. What happens when they share the ring? Do you expect it to be explosive, or do you expect a very different approach?
I think it's going to be very explosive. Listen, when Ali Frazier 1 happened, it was a great fight. Ali Frazier 2, Ali Frazier 3, when they were supposed to be at the end of their careers, one of the greatest fights in history.
So do you guys see this as the third fight because of their first bout as amateurs?
Well, you know what? I'm going to say I'm not going to go by the amateur. Even though it's their third encounter, I'm not going to go from the amateurs. I'm just going to go from this day forward. I'm not even thinking about the last fight. I'm going from this day forward. So in my eyes, this is the first fight.
Buddy, one thing I'm interested to get your thoughts on as well. People have been kind of critical of AJ looking maybe a little gun-shy is the word that's been thrown about. Do you see that in Anthony Joshua in his most recent performance against Jermaine Franklin, someone who's maybe a little bit more concerned of what's coming back at him in comparison to what we saw in the earlier years of his career?
It's like this, and a lot of people really don't understand, but when you, like with me and Dill, it was our first fight together. When you have new trainers, you're stuck in between of what you're used to doing and what you've been taught. So you're not going to look as explosive as you did. And I don't judge him on that. I think that now that he's had more time, he's going to be better. Just like Dill had more time with me, he's going to be better. So I think that, I don't look into that. We are preparing for the best Anthony Joshua.
Preparing for best Anthony Joshua. Just away from him, just get your thoughts on a few other guys. Obviously, Callum Smith now getting ready for that massive fight with Beterbiev. It's the one which everybody's saying he has a great chance to win. How does he go about defeating a man who many see as the hardest hitting fighter within the sport?
You got to watch the fight August 19th.
But I know this is a fight where you don't want to give too much away. A lot of people feel it's one which will catch fire and it will be explosive at some point and it will end in a stoppage. Is that what you're expecting from Callum? If he's to have his hand raised, it needs to be.
I just want the victory. I don't care how we get it, as long as we get it. I don't predict knockouts or stuff like that. I just, we're going to win the fight. How we get it, I don't care how we get it.
People certainly remember him most recently from his time over here in the UK when he fought Anthony Yard. Did you see chinks in the armour in that fight, which you feel Callum can exploit?
I believe that everyone fights fights to the ability of their opponent. You know what I mean? And I know that Beterbiev knows that he has to step his game up for Callum. He feel he'd have to step his game up against Yard. For whatever reason, I don't know, but I know that he knows that fighting Callum, he's fighting a bigger guy who can also punch. So he's got to step his game up.
This obviously will be Callum's biggest test at 175. How much more does he have to show to be successful against Beterbiev?
Well, all he got to do is just do the little things we've been working on, and the rest is history.
Travelling to Canada, being the away fighter on a top-ranked show, any concerns if it was to go to the cards?
No, not at all. No, I don't have no concern. Because here's the thing, no matter what the cards say, the world will see it.
And just away from Callum, few other fighters, get your thoughts on Dan Azeez. There was a lot of talk that he might have been in the frame to face Dimitri Bivol. Was that ever discussed with you?
They had mentioned it, but in the same time, in the same sense, it's like it's not happening.
I was going to leave on to the next one. Obviously, now there's all this talk of a Joshua-Buatsi fight. Anything that you can fill us in on?
You mean Azeez Buatsi? Nothing. Same thing. Same thing. You know what I mean? But I'm just focusing on what's in front of us right now.
And just a final one, Janibek. What's the latest with Janibek? Many see him as one of the best fighters in the world at 160. What's going on?
Well, right now, I guess they're waiting for someone else to step up to the plate and, decide to fight him.
Why has it been so hard to match him?
That's a good question. I don't know.
I was going to leave out the last one, just a couple more squeeze. Canelo-Charlo was announced the other day, not the Charlo everybody was expecting. What are your thoughts on that fight? Do you rate Jamal's chances?
I like his chances, to be honest. You know what I mean? But, you don't know what Canelo. You don't know which Canelo's going to show up. You know what I mean? But I like Charlo's chances, I do.
And obviously the final one, Spence Crawford. Your breakdown, please, buddy. What happens at the end of this month?
I'm going to go with Crawford. Crawford sets traps very well. He sets traps. And, you know what I mean? And I will say this, he fights righty, then he goes lefty, then he goes righty. But if you see him staying lefty for more than 3 rounds, that means he's got you figured out.
Well, buddy, it's a pleasure as always. I'm leaving now to go catch up with the team wherever they've left you, so thank you.
Thank you very much.